Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hi, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, you'll be listening to a sleep hypnosis session that was created for a client that was always putting the needs of other people before their own. And they had a bit of a belief that they didn't necessarily deserve to have their own needs to be met. And in doing so, they were, to use the analogy, they were trying to pour from an empty cup, which is never a good idea because it can leave feelings of being depleted and drained and lots of things where just to survive in that kind of environment, you need to be hyper vigilant and you need to be constantly on your toes. And that isn't conducive to feeling that you can really rest and relax in the evenings. It's not uncommon for people to have certain rituals which feel like they're helping. So for some people, it might be alcohol, or for other people, it might be eating food. For other people, it might be watching endless box sets on, Netflix or scrolling on social media, almost as a way of distraction and just to kind of empty their mind before they sleep. But in doing so, that regular bit of dopamine or whatever the neurotransmitter is that's being received from that behavior can actually mean that rather than sleeping, they're up till 3-4 o'clock in the evening playing games on social media, watching TV shows, and then the following day, the cycle continues, and then they need to kind of snack and have lots of caffeine or sugar just to get through the day. And then at the end, because they're in that hypervigilance and they feel all stressed out, the cycle continues of whatever the coping strategy is. This is designed to break that pattern in two key ways. The first is to meet their own needs first, and one of their highest value needs was to learn and grow. Therefore, waking up and doing that as the very first thing means they could meet their needs and therefore not feel the need to do that in the evening. The second thing is to link to an idea, and for a lot of people, they are disassociated from the solution. And sometimes I'll use a frame like a magic wand. In this case, I imagine parallel universes, and there is a parallel universe where she has the relationship with sleep that she actually wants, and by accessing that, it creates an associated feeling that it's actually possible because she's experiencing it. This particular session doesn't have the outro included, and it has a few minutes of the theta wave music. So this is one of those hypnosis sessions that's quite good to listen just before you sleep. Normally I don't recommend it because if you fall asleep in a hypnosis session, it isn't as effective as if you're in a relaxed state. The exception to that is if the goal is to sleep, in which case you want to sleep in the session. So listening to this while you're in bed in the evening isn't a bad thing to do at all. If you're struggling with sleep, you can click the link in the show notes to schedule a free consultation call to explore working with me. But you might find that this session is actually quite helpful, albeit that some of the references won't make sense for you because they were created for the client that I was working with. But to get the best out of this session, ideally listen to this in a safe, comfortable place, ideally your own bed, relax and enjoy the session. take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in a resourceful feeling of rest and relaxation. And as you exhale, give permission to yourself to just let go. That's it. With your eyes closed, notice that your eyelids are feeling, but they can also release any tension to completely relax, to feel that they're getting heavier and heavier. That as you breathe in, there's a wonderful, resourceful feeling going in, and as you exhale, you're releasing any feelings of having to be strong, having to be in control. Just feel that being released, leaving your body. Only this time as you breathe out, imagine breathing out further than ever before, completely emptying your lungs of any breath. And as you completely exhale, notice how effortlessly you can take a deep breath in. I want you to get a sense that sometimes you need to create a vacuum, a space in which nature will effortlessly fill. And I wonder, what would happen if you created a space to learn, a space to grow, a space to allow your needs to be met first. For years now, you've been putting everyone else's needs before yourself. Therefore, it wouldn't be a small change to wake up and the very first thing you would do is to make sure your needs are met. They say you can't pour from an empty cup. So therefore, if your own needs are met, it stands to reason that you have more to give. Breathe in and breathe out and just feel a wave of relaxation, starting at one point in your body and rippling across every single cell. I want you to recall the time that you yawned. Not a small yawn, one of those big, long yawns. The kind of yawn that at the point of exhaling in that yawn, so much tension would leave your body. That's it. So breathe in and breathe out, and use the power of your imagination to remember a comfortable chair. Not just any chair, a chair that you link to positive, powerful emotions of relaxation, safety and comfort. I want you to use the power of your imagination to imagine you're on that chair now, feeling how good it would feel to position your body on that chair for optimal relaxation. And I want you to imagine your arms are getting limp, loose and heavy. Any tension in your neck and your shoulders is just melting away. Just imagine your legs. They don't need to carry your weight. They don't need to walk you anywhere. So you can release all of the tension in your legs. And just imagine what it would be like to have your physical body there in that chair while your imagination goes on a journey. Some people call it astral projection, that a thought can take you anywhere. Some people believe that there are infinite universes. So as your physical body is there on that chair, I want your imagination to take you to the universe where you sleep effortlessly, letting go of any feelings of control. Go to that universe where your needs are being met. You feel worthy and confident, and that your ritual in the evening is all about reflecting on what went well, but also what can be changed, with a spirit of optimism and positivity, so that in that universe, you get to go to sleep, deeply sleep, waking up the next morning, refreshed, rejuvenated, and willing to learn, to grow, and to be the version of you in the world that you desire to be. So imagine you're in that world, that universe. And I want you to imagine you're waking up early. Maybe there's a bit of tiredness. But imagine that tiredness evolves quickly into a wonderful feeling where your needs are being met first. Imagine the version of you that you could be with, having had a great night's sleep and being fully present, engaged, interacting with your family, your children, being the version of you that you want to be for them. Imagine how much more productive you could be throughout the day, how much more accomplished you would feel because you've had so much good quality sleep. You don't need to use snacks and sugar to try and keep you alert and energetic. I want you to feel so much more aligned that the version of you that you want to be is the version of you that you are. And if this feels like it's a nicer world to live in, let me know by nodding your head. I want you to imagine wandering around this world, being this person, but also being an observer to this person, noticing the kind of things you learn, kind of things you do. But I want you to pay particular attention to your evening ritual. What do you do in the evenings to have the best quality sleep? And imagine doing those things. And as you do them, get a sense of how aligned you feel doing these things. No resistance. Get a sense that this is how they are and how they could be. Feel your head on the pillow and imagine drifting off into a state of relaxation. And there in that bed, in that reality, as you relax deeply, imagine each breath out releasing any old beliefs of unworthiness, like leaves floating away on a gentle stream. Imagine your self-worth as a bright light within you, growing more luminous with each healthy, self-affirming choice you make, including the choice to embrace restful sleep. Allow the comforting night to remind you that sleep is a natural gift, as deserved as the air you breathe, requiring no condition or permission to be enjoyed. Feel that relaxation in that bed, in that reality, but also feel a wave of compassion for yourself with every word you hear, understanding that you are inherently worthy of care, rest, and all your needs met. Feel that sleep is a safe sanctuary that welcomes you unconditionally, affirming that this is the time to let go of any feelings of having to be strong or responsible, that sleep is the very thing you've been looking for, and that you have permission to enjoy that sleep. That as you drift toward sleep, imagine it as the ultimate relaxation, a luxurious retreat that restores your energy and vitality for the day to come. Imagine you've had a whole night of deep, rejuvenating sleep, and then imagine waking up refreshed, ready to meet your needs before anything else. And then imagine the mood that you would be in, ready to share vibrant moments with your children, fully present and joyous in their company from the very start of the day. Reinforce the idea within you that sleep is the ultimate self-care, and it's a form of elegance and self-respect. That sleeping well is now part of your identity, projecting the image of the strong and energized person that you are. I want you to think that your life is like a book. Each day is a page. Each section of your life is a different chapter. And that for a long while there's been a story attached to those old chapters. But I want you to imagine you're about to embark on a new chapter. And sometimes in the hero's journey, their story changes away from one story to a brand new story. And that new story tends to represent overcoming the very challenge that they needed to overcome to become the best possible version of themselves. And I think you already know what that story is. You've always known. What if now is the time to live that new story? A story where you are the main character. You are the protagonist. And you're doing things because you choose to do them. No need for permission. No need for meeting other expectations or perceptions. I want you to feel how empowered you would feel to be simultaneously the author and the lead character in this new story, in the new chapter of your life. And sleeping well just happens to be one of the attributes that this new character enjoys. That sleep for them is how they release the need to be strong and responsible, the need to play a role. That sleeping is the ultimate form of escapism. It's just a characteristic of this character in their story. And if your unconscious mind is willing to embrace this new story, to change things simply because you desire to change things, to leave the past behind and step into a new future, let me know by nodding your head. And I want you to feel that this reality and this different universe is yours for the taking. This is a reality that you can create and manifest simply from the choices that you make. And you have all the knowledge needed to get there. I want you to get a sense that everything you've been learning in the past wasn't by accident. It was the preparation, the cocoon, the catalyst, the chrysalis for a transformation. You needed that time, you needed that knowledge. But all that time and knowledge that doesn't lead to a transformation is a tragedy. And it's a tragedy you can avoid by taking all that knowledge and applying it to convert it into wisdom and experiences. And as you acknowledge that you already know what to do, and you now give yourself permission to do it, feel yourself returning to that comfortable chair, taking all the changes with you. And when you're there in that chair, let me know by nodding your head. And then of course you realize the chair is also not fully present. It's just a thought within a thought, an idea within an idea, a dream within a dream, and feel that now you can fully return to the present, taking all those changes with you fully into your body right now as you take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, fully connect to being fully present in your body right now. And very soon I will count from 1 to 10. And if you're listening to this in the evening before sleep, when I count from 1 to 10, you will drift off into a deep, rejuvenating sleep. And if you're listening at a different time, when I count to 10, if your unconscious chooses, you will awaken feeling refreshed and revitalized. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10.